And tonight, what we're going to be talking about is how people can really show up as the best version of themselves in their business based on their astrology chart or natal chart. So let's start off, first of all, by, talking about the elements and, how the elements show up. Like, what I want to say is, how do different elements do business? Like, how might a fire sign, an earth sign, an air sign, and a cup sign, how might they do business differently or not?
Yes. So I love that you're starting with the elements. I mean, this is how I teach, and I know you've been in a lot of my classes, and I
Hmm.
teach by ecosystems and elements. So, everybody listening, first of all, I hope you all know your sun, moon, and rising because those are the key pieces of information that you will need to know for today to get the most out of it. And if you don't, just listen to everything and you can find out later and watch the replay once you find out. Um, so we're going to talk about, yeah, how to build a business based on your star chart today. And the first order of business is elements. Is like, what is your main element? What's the centerpiece in the middle of your living room? All right, is it fire? Is it earth? Is it air or water? And how do these four elements do business differently? So I'm very curious as to what you lead with, first of all, like the sun sign, which is who you are, what you came here to do on planet Earth, the rising sign, how you're going to do the job of the sun, and then the moon sign, which is what you need. So if you don't satisfy your moon sign in business, then you're really not going to be happy. But we're going to start the conversation with elements.
Hmm.
So think about the elements as we talk about this. So your sun, moon, and your rising. Shall we kick off with fire?
Yes. If the moon is in Aries, of course we should start with fire tonight. And those fire signs don't want to be waiting anyway. So let's talk about fire.
I love a good Aries moon. And I have to say that in the Astrology for Entrepreneurs class coming up on January 27th, that is going to be amazing. We also teach how to track the cycles,
Hmm.
how to track your business cycles based on not only where the moon is, but major planetary transits and things like that. We're also adding in. So we include that as well as your own business signature. Uh, so that's all there. Fire element people, who are you in the room? Let's hear it for the fires, the Aries, the Leo, the Sagittarians. All right, so if you have a lot of fire in your chart, well, first of all, we'll go through the three. Overall, you excel in live presence, in showing up, going on a live like we are now, things like that, things that involve a lot of push, presentation, production, publishing, the fire to push something out into the world. That takes fire. It's also a very creative energy. Life force. Maybe you sing, maybe you dance, you do something creative, you publish books, you go on live. All right. Now, I'm also curious as to where fire fits into your chart. Is it your sun? Is it your rising? Or is it your moon?
I'm seeing a lot of fire moons.
So much fire in this room.
Hmm.
Not surprised. Yes. So there's three types of fire. I wonder if we should go into the types of fire.
Yeah, let's do that.
So each of you that has a different kind of fire, the Aries fire, those of you that have Aries fire, you all are pioneers. You are like the boss lady, startup queen, pioneer, get it off the ground and going. Now, if you have an Aries moon, which I see showing up here, that means emotionally, you're not going to feel comfortable unless you can have agency and independence and get this started on your own. So however, I'm going to also say the shortcomings of Aries moon is sometimes you, or Aries anything, so you can rush through things and you can miss the details. So that's important, but you have so much energy to get a startup going, to get anything off the ground. You are a pioneer. Boss. Okay, Aries. Um, let's go to our next fire sign, the Leo business. So the business model, when you have, we're talking about Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, and we're going to do some examples with you all later, how they all work together. But Leo, first of all, is also a leader, but a very different kind of leader than an Aries is. Leos are creative leaders. They have a vision and they want to get everybody in the room excited about their vision. So you see them, a lot of creative directors have a strong Leo in their chart, performers, CEOs have a lot of Leo often too.
Hmm.
So they get people excited. Now, I'm also going to say one of the shortcomings of people who have a lot of Leo, sometimes they don't listen to everybody else's feedback enough. So I'm also going to include things that you all can be doing to help
Hmm.
out the sign. So Leos need to carve out the extra time to listen to your employees, to your teammates, and things like that too. Check in more, ears to the ground, you know? That's important too. Okay, Leos,
Got
who are
plenty of Leos showing up. Plenty of them coming in here. My daughter's a very Leo person, and I know that that stuff is true for her. Wee CC loves Leo, so lots of Leos here tonight too, and Leo lovers.
Oh, I have a Leo rising actually. You can see it in the hair. This is
Yes.
hair. This is like no product. I just wake up and it's like big hair, like born in the 80s here. You know, can't help it. Um, anyway, that's Leo rising for you. Um, anyway, so your rising sign is again um, how you present yourself into the world. Now, all right. Third sign, Sagittarius. The Sagittarian kind of fire. If you're Sagittarius fire, you excel again in media, making things viral, getting information out there, publishing, broadcasting, blogging, speaking your word, teaching. You get the picture?
Mm-hmm.
Sagittarians, you're also good in the travel industry. But all of you fire signs, all of you who have sun, moon, and rising fire, you ignite the room. You get everybody fired up and excited. It's always good to have a little fire on a team. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
too much fire, but where Sagittarians can fall short. Like every sign has a thing they got to work on, you know. Sometimes they have such a big vision, but the audience ain't ready to go there yet. So you got to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that your audience is where you want to take them, and sometimes you got to build a bridge first, Sagittarians, because you are the visionary, but you want to take them somewhere. Do all the steps, you know. I love my Sagittarius too. Um,
I work with a lot of Sagittarius. I love hiring Sagittarius because they're very visionary and I don't have any fire in my chart. So I
oh,
find that having fire sign people in my life or on my team really helps to keep things going.
I love that you just said that, Teresa, because that's actually one of the main things we teach in the class is like
Hmm.
how to hire out based on your star chart. Because a lot of times people like to hire people just like them, and that's the biggest mistake any entrepreneur can make. We all know. Um,
Hmm.
if you like, you don't have any fire, you hire fire, and they know how to get you out there in just the right way. So that's something big we teach in Astrology for Entrepreneurs, which starts Jan 27th.
Hmm.
It's hire for where you have shortcomings. Do not try to figure it out.
Yes, absolutely. And for people who are listening, Rebecca's class, Astrology for Entrepreneurs, is a class that I took, and I learned so much, and it really clarified a lot of things that I was doing consciously and needed to do. So it's a great class. We'll talk more about that too, because I think a lot of people might be very interested in checking out the actual class. So what about earth signs? Now, earth is very different than fire. I would assume too that their needs are or the way they operate their business is probably going to be maybe a lot more slower. I mean, what would you say?
Absolutely. Earth is probably one of the slowest signs, but I mean, it's systems. We need systems. We need structure. Earth signs are here to create the systems and the structure for everything. Now, my business, I have so much earth. We have like 100-page operations manual. I mean,
Wow.
I am so system. People don't know this about me, but I'm all about systems and structures. Like if I was like to leave for a week, everything would happen because it's all pictures, videos, so structured out.
That's all right. That impresses me. I'm just telling you, that impresses me a lot.
I teach people how to do this stuff too in the course. Like I love systems and creating them
Hmm.
based on unique needs. So, I mean, there's three kinds of Earth, though. Yes,
Hmm.
let's talk about the Taurian type of Earth first. So, who are the Taurus Sun, Moon, or risings in the room? All right, Taurus kind of Earth is long term vision, long lead plans, you see into the
Hmm.
future, and you are a money maven. So you have the ability to save, to plan for something, to put money away, and to build slow and steady all the way to the top. Um, your challenge, if you have too much Taurus in your chart, can be that you stay the course for too long when the climate's
Hmm.
changing. You got to also move with it and flip script. We all have a challenge based on something we might have a lot of, but Taurians are great, persevering through all the times, the highs, the lows.
Hmm.
And yeah, I see a lot of Taurians in the
Yes,
room.
Third Eye Dow says that she can produce the capital. That's for true.
They do that innately. It's pretty amazing.
Hmm.
Um, maybe I need to hire a Taurus on my team.
Hmm.
So, okay, look at this Taurus stellium over here. All right,
Hmm.
let's talk about the next sign, which is Virgo. Um, like Virgo overall, I call Virgo the triple checker of the zodiac. All right, if you want somebody that's gonna get it right, ask a Virgo. In business, your greatest asset, I think, is your integrity for quality and all of the little details. Great editorial skills. Um, I think Virgo can also fall short where they lack sometimes bigger picture vision too. Sometimes you got to remind a Virgo, like people on my team have to remind me, step back, Rebecca. What's important here? Or I'm like going deep into some detail and perfecting a line. What's the point? You know? So, but I say if you want to get it done right, give it to a Virgo. And
I
actually,
agree.
and as far as like the roles go on a team, I do think like Virgo can be happy as an employee. Like I actually am like an employee on my team. I'm the astrologer. Like I don't want to
Hmm.
be like bossing people around too much, honestly. I'd rather be doing the work with clients and teaching, like doing the actual
Right.
work, which is very Virgo. Um, okay, so let's look at the next sign. All right.
Capricorn.
Yeah, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising. Okay, you've got the big picture vision, and that is your forte. So you know how all the different moving pieces work together because your vantage point is the top of the mountain in business. And that lends itself to sort of high level management positions where you oversee a lot of
Hmm.
different operations going on. Um, so yeah, I love working with Capricorns too because they see
Hmm.
how all pieces work together. However, where Capricorns, unicorns, where you all can also fall short is sometimes you just want to go to your goal and you might miss the journey along the way, smelling the roses and all the different kinds of things that are happening. So
Hmm.
maintain your journey, maintain your values, and you want to steer away from anything that's too means to an end. Make sure you take your time.
Yeah, also I find Capricorns could be workaholics where they get way, way, way too much in and they don't let anybody else come in and do things and they've got to get out of their way and learn how to rest sometimes.
Well said, Teresa. I could name a few Capricorns I know. I just want to pull them away from the desk sometimes. Right.
Yes, me too. Otherwise, they're just constantly in the office when they need to be also having balance in their lives with the personal life. So that's one thing that I find with Capricorns. They just too much work, not enough play. They need more play for Capricorns.
Yes,
So
Capricorn, out there and play a little.
exactly. So now, of course, I'm mostly all air, and I love my air signs. Air signs know how to play. So let's go on to air signs: Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius.
How exciting. Okay, who's an air sign in the room? Let's see how many airs do we have in the room. Teresa!
I'm very
Okay.
air. I've got a lot of Gemini in my chart.
I think in our first class together, we were all like, are you an author? Are you a writer? She was like, do you want to know?
Mhm.
So, air is the realm of communication. Um, Air signs excel in all forms of communication writing, speaking, connecting the dots. Their greatest asset is the mind. So, this is about mental agility. your ability to communicate new ideas and to do it so effortlessly and elegantly. Um, so you're true ideators, and your brilliant mind is what any team really enjoys. I would also say uh, what yeah, Geminis are great writers, speakers, ideators. What you have to watch out for is starting too many projects and not finishing one. So all the Geminis,
Guilty as charged.
I don't know how you do it, Teresa. Whenever I hear about all your projects, I'm just like, wow, I'm like a one thing at a time girl.
Yeah, well, I tend to have like five books going on at the same time that I'm writing or I'm reading. And I'm trying to like pare that down though, because I am following the advice to like, I do listen, but it's really hard to break those habits when you've done it for so long, when you've operated that way. And I think, learning how to change it so you can run a better business really does require retraining your whole way of thinking. So I know that the advice you had given me is not to have so many irons in the fire. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Do you have any Earth on your team too?
Um, I work with somebody who is a Scorpio. I work
Wow.
with a Sag and a Pisces.
Oh,
No, we
so
don't
you've
have
got,
any. I've got three planets in Virgo though.
oh yeah. So you have some structure for that air too. That's great.
Hmm.
Yeah. I have to say I have like no air, and I think that's why we get along so well too. And I
Yes.
always for air as well. Like I love all your ideas. Um, so right. So Gemini is the first kind of air, those beautiful, quick, fresh winds. Um, 5 books. I can't even imagine. Okay.
It's
Um,
nuts.
wow. All right, Libras. Libra, sun, moon, and rising. Who are you, Libras, who have any of those qualities?
Henhouse Hats is, it looks like, is a triple Libra.
Oh, wow, triple.
She's a
Okay.
hat maker. If you love hats, Henhouse Hats is like, her and Brass Rooster have a business where they hand make, they're like master, I believe it's called milliners, and they make hats and they're based here in Milwaukee. They're incredible.
Amazing. Will you all send me your link? I love hats. I'll wear some on these lives. I'm obsessed with hats. So
I'm
you're
gonna have
gonna
to
love
hook you up.
these. Okay, so Libras are built up. So basically, Libras rule by Venus. So
Hmm.
you excel in things like relationship building, fashion, beauty, bringing people together, PR, anything that's graceful and beautiful. Okay, this is all, and I always say the cornerstone of business is always relationship building. And Libras,
Hmm.
you do this so effortlessly with grace. You see so many Libras in the world of fashion and beauty, such as our wonderful hat makers here.
Hmm.
I would say one thing Libras have to remember in business, though, is to remain transparent and direct and clear. Even when things are sort of hard to say, you got to say it anyway. And sometimes that's hard for a Libra, with a lot of planets in Libra, when you want things to just be nice and smooth them over for it all to be beautiful. So that can be a challenge too. Um, I love my Libras. Yes. All right. But there's, I mean, so many designers have a lot of Libra in their chart.
Hmm.
I'm surprised.
They do.
Okay. So shall we go to the next air sign?
Yep, Aquarius.
Aquarians. Okay, you're the tastemakers. In business, I see you as tastemakers, I see you as innovators, and you have a sixth sense to what's new, what's next, what's the pulse on the trend. You're a trendsetter. Um, so you see, like I always think of Capricorns at like the top of the mountain, and then Aquarians are like in the sky, the stratosphere above
Hmm.
that. And who knows where they're getting ideas from, like the mothership, or I mean, they just kind of channel them in. Um, so I would say Aquarians, where you what you want to do is make sure you maintain your pulse on the ground as well, because you
Hmm.
are receiving so many innovations. You're actually always 7 years ahead of the time. You want to make sure the culture is ready for what you got, and if they're not, how are you going to build that bridge?
Mm.
So that's you. Who are the Aquarians in the room? I
We got
love
quite a
working with.
few. Yeah, we got quite a few popping in here. Wee Wee CC is an Aquarius. She's an
Oh,
artist, by the way, and she's amazing. I've actually got a piece of her art, and it's super, super cool. It's a picture of the moon. It's beautiful.
what
So
is
who
it?
are other Aquariuses? Jack Dev,
Such a
the House Witchery.
designer. Yeah, making it concrete. They can be so abstract.
Hmm.
I love working with Aquarians though, because I'm like, tell me all your big abstract ideas, and I would just want to help them like galvanize it. Like, let's bring it down. They're wonderful people.
And Brass Rooster is Aquarius, and Brass Rooster is also a hat maker. So Brass Rooster and Hen House Hats, they're both air signs. That's interesting. And they both make hats. They're a couple, actually. She makes the ladies' hats, he makes the dudes' hats.
I love it. What is it with Aquarians and hat making? We just learned something here. Or Libras and Aquarians.
Libra and Aquarius, the air
Mhm.
sign. Yeah, I don't
Right.
know. That's really interesting. I did not know that one was Aquarius and one is Libra. So we're learning that tonight.
So yeah, we're always learning new things actually here.
Hmm.
All right. Moon is in Aquarius. That means emotionally, what you need as well is that ability to innovate and to make changes to feel
Hmm.
comfortable. Um, okay, so shall we go to the next element?
Water signs.
Waters. Sun, moon, or rising in a water sign. Okay, so waters, if you have water in your chart, in any position, sun, moon, or rising, there's a part of you, well, you are feeling everything pretty intensely. I saw a meme the other day. It was like, hey, you think your life is hard? Some people are actually water signs or
That's
Pisces.
perfect.
But water signs feel it all. I mean, everything,
Mhm.
especially the Pisceans here, right? So we'll start off, I think in business too, they can be very sensitive, empathic, and reflectors, wonderfully creative as well. But I think building relationships is really their strong suit here and being
Mhm.
quite creative. Um, we'll talk about the sign of Cancer to start with. No, it's a wonderful skill, that
Mhm.
sensitivity and empathy connection in business. I feel it's the juice that holds everything together. Um, so we'll talk about the first water sign, which is Cancer. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So you have such a sense of care and compassion. A lot of times I see Cancerians in the industry of like hospitality or anything that really cares for people. Sometimes you're just such a well loved manager. You're really good at anything that's helping other people. In the health industry as well, um, you really build a culture and connect to people you work with. So everybody loves to work near Cancerian. You value people first. And yeah, people do come first. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Uh, what are Reiki practitioners I see? Yes, like you have such an
Mhm.
care and compassion, all of that. So I see a husband who's a Cancerian teacher. So sweet. Okay. Now, where cancers can sometimes what they have to watch out for is making sure your emotions do not rule the day. Make sure you don't make
Mhm.
too many emotionally based decisions, because you can be having like a bad day or this or up or down. Make sure you get clear and you meditate before you have to make an important decision.
Mm.
Uh, so many Reiki practitioners here who are
I
Cancerian,
know.
yoga
That's very
teachers.
interesting.
I love it. Okay, do you want to go to the next water sign?
Scorpio, yes. I love, and I'm a Scorpio fanatic. And a lot of, I mean, a lot of people give Scorpios a bum rap. I always say that. And I'm like, Scorpios are so cool. Why would you not want to be a Scorpio?
I know. I mean that I don't know what happened, but it's true. It's like Scorpios, I feel like Geminis get that too
Yep.
sometimes. No, it's not fair. I
Mm-mm.
love to. I'm sure we got a lot of Scorpios here in the room. Um,
We do.
love the yes. Okay. So in business, Scorpio is all about depth, getting to the bottom of things. You are queen when it comes to research, when it comes to strategy, like drilling down. And I also would imagine you excel in deep transformational personal work with others. Let's
Hmm.
say you do shamanic work, maybe you're involved in the tarot world or something like that, or any deep transformational work that you do one on one. But we see a great deal you also do well in strategy and research, negotiating too. I don't know about you, but I find when Scorpios sense other people's motivation so
Hmm.
instinctively, it's like there's this pure animal instinct that's razor sharp. It's like they don't even have to think about it. It's insane, that level of instinct. And I think it's really cool so that you don't have to use logic. Your instinct will just tell you
Right.
everything. If you have. That said, I do think Scorpio kind of sometimes they can really hole up and go deep into something, and you got to
Hmm.
remember breather, when to take a walk, get around the block, get to open up a window. Do you have the black curtains over your window and everything? Sometimes Scorpios need to remember to switch it up a little bit so you don't
Hmm.
get that hole over there. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you want to find out the who, why, when, what, why, really the why, that's a Scorpio. Excavator,
Hmm.
be an auditor, Scorpio in the room.
That's a real Scorpio job if you're an auditor.
Oh, totally. All right. Um, who are the Pisces here?
I know the bone lines is a Pisces, and I saw her pop in here before. And if Zuri is here, Zuri I know is also Pisces. And Silver
Pisces.
Raven Tarot is a Pisces.
Oh, great. So yeah, we have quite a few then. So Pisces
Hmm.
Sun, Pisces Moon, Pisces Rising. I want to see you. Okay, good. So Pisces. All right, you're the true visionary and artist of the
Hmm.
zodiac. It might be film, it might be fashion, design, communications, but it's your creativity that extends through everything. And also your empathy and your intuition. It's almost that you create from a space. It just kind of flows through you. It's almost like a channel. It's not like I'm going to make a beautiful thing. It's like you have no choice. This beautiful thing is just seeping out of the pores of your body. Um, so you're the magical creatrix of the zodiac. Uh, and I see a lot of Pisces often in film editing and
Hmm.
photography, music, because you really see how something can move, all the pieces move together so beautifully.
Hmm.
Really inspired vision comes from the Pisceans in the world. I think some of the older, the ancient scientists back in the day, they were
Hmm.
actually, you would think scientists are Capricorn, but scientists were more like mystics back in the day.
Hmm.
Uh, so, all right. What else we're going to see here with Pisces is their sixth sense. They trust, they have an intuition that is like no other. They can feel things. I think I saw a Pisces detective in the room. Probably
Yeah,
would
I
let you
saw
in.
that too.
I love that. Healer work, helping the
Hmm.
animals, humanitarian things, things that involve heart and soul. Science is magic, yes.
Full-time artist too.
Beautiful. Yeah, share your art with us. I'd love to see what you're up to. So, what Pisces have to work on too, some of them might, is staying organized and keeping schedule, you know? Um, which yeah, I see a lot of our Pisces are like, yeah. So that is now we just went through the zodiac, right? So
Right.
now look at what perhaps like how the sun and the moon and the rising.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Now, the sun and the moon and rising each are different parts, different facets of our personalities, and so obviously they're gonna impact different parts of how we need to show up to max out our careers. So, what would be the difference then between the sun, the moon, and the rising in how you should be running your business?
yes, great question. So your sun. is you. Let's just look at that as like who you are, what you came here to do on planet Earth, your core archetype, your main role. Uh, Now, I see the rising sign as the how
Mm-hmm.
you're role. So the sign is what you're going to do, that role of your sun sign, and the rising is like the vehicle. Like imagine if it was like a car or a spaceship or a boat or whatever your vehicle is, but it's like how you're going to go from point A to point B. And that's like your MO. It's your rising sign. It's how you show up in the world. It's if you imagine yourself as your sun. Oh, wait, what is your sun? Do you want to share with us? Like your sun in your rising sign vehicle.
Me?
If you don't, if you want to
Oh,
share.
yeah. This thing, like my sound cut out for a second. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can get the sound back up.
We hear
Why is
you.
it? Okay, you can hear me. That's all that matters. So my sun is, I'm a Gemini sun, Libra rising, and moon in Scorpio.
So you're Gemini sun and rising.
No, Libra rising and Scorpio moon.
Okay, yeah, it is a little hard to hear now. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Turning it
Let
up.
me let me just adjust.
Writing so many books, I can't even, I don't even know. So she's doing the Gemini thing, right?
Hmm.
And how does she do it? She does it through the lens of Libra. How do you relate to that, Teresa?
So how do it froze for a second. The camera did. So sorry about that for everyone who's watching. Sometimes these things do pause. Bear with us.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, so for Gemini as a communicator in Libra, so my vehicle then is people. Well, I love teaching. I love to teach. I like to take subjects and I like to break them down. And I like to also present them to people in a way that's really understandable. And I think, I teach metaphysical subjects like tarot and astrology. I think that a lot of people are intimidated by it. So my Libra rising is about making it palatable and making people feel like, hey, you can do this.
And I feel like also the community you've created through
Hmm.
the tarot tangents and transits and all of your amazing lives, that's such a Libran thing to build relationships and community as well around your
Hmm.
teacher. So yeah, she is a wonderful teacher. So it's a perfect
Oh.
Gemini, the Libra rising.
Hmm.
Um, so the third part of this is the moon. The
Right.
moon is something you cannot ignore. I always say
Mm-mm.
to people, don't feed your moon in your business, in your daily life, then you might not be happy. You
Hmm.
have to know your needs and what it takes for you to feel like that was a full day. I feel great. And that is actually quenching the needs of your moon sign. So, like, I would imagine you said you have a Scorpio moon, right,
Yep.
Teresa?
Yep.
So you can imagine the level of depth she requires to go deep into subjects. Like we're not surface level here. We're gonna
Mm-mm.
do like offshore drilling at some undisclosed location, Scorpio style. We're gonna get to the bottom of this all. And the level of depth that's conveyed, I feel like in your work is absolutely the scorpionic. Like you're not afraid to
Mm-hmm.
go there. Like you're completely fearless. Like we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
out whatever it is. How do you relate to Scorpio?
Well, that makes total sense. And also, I am an intimacy freak. I like really long-term, deep relationships with my clients and even with the people I hire and work with. So that's the other thing that is really important to me. And yes, I love going deep in subjects and I like going down little by little, bit by bit by bit. I like is so it's kind of like excavating. And when I lead people into anything I'm learning, it's always in these steps and it goes deeper and deeper. There's always, I like to say, a method to my madness.
Yes, and you alluded to something else, which is called the modes that you mentioned. You like long-term relationships
Hmm.
with clients and that level of intimacy. And Scorpio's one of a few signs that are known as fixed signs. And
Hmm.
fixed, like Taurus and Scorpio, are known for that ability to stick with something and maintain through and through.
Hmm.
So so that's how we put it together, and we can really create a sort of a business profile based on your sun moon rising. um, and this is like the foundations of what we teach in the course, and then we look at the year ahead and we learn how to do all of these other things in
Hmm.
astrology for entrepreneurs. But I want to get a sense here of let's see who in the room wants to share their big three, and we can play a bit.
Yes, let's do a few of those. So Lee plus three says, I have a Leo sun, Cancer moon, and a Gemini rising. And they have a hard time getting them on the same page. So Leo sun, Cancer moon, and Gemini rising.
So the first thing I look at is the missing element. I look at your strength and then I look at the missing element. So you have fire, Leo sun, you have water, Cancer moon, and you have air, Gemini rising. That's a lovely ecosystem. There's a hot, radiant sun shining there. There's a really connected, empathic rising. You connect and care deeply for the public. And Gemini moon, this
Hmm.
need to learn things and take classes and share information throughout the day. Um, the first thing I say is there's that's a healthy ecosystem. The one thing that's missing is earth in that. So I would say if you are an entrepreneur, the area where you would want to probably ask for help is in having systems and structure set up in your business.
Hmm.
Now, Leo. Okay, so you are the radiant sun. You're the creator, right? Are you a creative person, Miss Leo, with the Cancer rising? But we're not just simply talking about not only creating art, but something that creating in a way that it helps other people, because it's a uh, Cancer rising. This is
Hmm.
an interesting combination. I see this a lot in makeup artists actually, because they're creating, but they're doing something that makes other people feel amazing. So we're curious what you do, but this creative coming through in a compassionate, caring way, and then your need for Gemini in your life. Yeah,
Lee
you need
plus three says, thank you, I am. So she or he must be involved in makeup then, I'm assuming.
really.
Hmm.
Wow. Okay, I guess we got it. um, but the Gemini moon. Let's not forget the moon sign.
Oh,
So
that's
you're
Gemini. She is Gemini rising. Cancer moon, Gemini rising.
okay. So I flipped it. Um, Gemini rising. Okay. So still, the way you're great at communicate. Wow, I bet you have amazing relationships with your clients
Hmm.
and communicative, connected, great at sharing ideas. And the Cancer moon needs that comfy, cozy space, needs to connect emotionally. I would imagine creative things like hair and makeup lend itself to that, where you can connect to people while you're being creative, set design, stuff like that, but especially making other people feel amazing.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so, what is the name of that person? Who is that? Is it
Lee plus three, and now they say I newly read tarot and getting into astrology, but naturally I'm a writer, and they have a Gemini rising. So,
amazing? Wow. Okay, so Leo, what a creative person though to express it through words. But with the
hmm.
Cancer moon, I would imagine that you need to have that deep connection with your clients to cultivate that
Hmm.
too.
Hmm.
Uh, I can say I have a Cancer moon too, like you have a Scorpio moon, and I love
Hmm.
those intimate connections that we have with the clients with that too. Sorry, I
Hmm.
got your moon mixed up when I read it here. Okay.
Well, these
Um,
things are moving really fast. So, I mean, that one of the things is it's very hard often to keep for me to keep on top of these too. So, apologies.
that's okay. Shall we play with another one here?
Yeah, Trisha Kondo put, I'm a Taurus sun, Leo rising, and Gemini moon.
Okay. Taurus sun, so she has earthy sun, shines through a Leo rising and a Gemini moon.
Hmm.
So the element is water here. So the lesson is to trust the flow of things, that things will work out. Can you remember that? Because I might forget it. Taurus sun, what is it? Leo rising, Gemini moon.
I'm going to take a note. So Trisha Kondo, bear with me. So Taurus Sun, Leo Rising, and Gemini Moon. Got it. I'm on it.
That combination. Okay, Taurus sun, Leo rising. All right. So you have the steady earth foundation as your Taurus sun. So again, Taurus is a rather creative sign, excellent at building a business from the ground up. Perhaps you do something with your hands or something creative. You have natural business acumen and can be a money maven, as I was saying, as a Taurus sun. But I see Taurians a lot using their voice sometimes. They sing, sometimes they grow things, they make food. Naturally creative, expressing through the Leo rising. Uh, that Taurus Leo combination is actually seen most often on Broadway. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
It's so strange when you look at like actors and singers, you see a lot of that Taurus Leo. Um, I guess because it's the voice and the expression of it and all of that. But it's quite healthy. So it shows that your vehicle is sort of blinged out. Like you're this
Hmm.
Taurus creature, right? Who's got this earthy thing going on, steady, building, creative, but you know how to glam it up and show up with that Leo rising of yours, and you kind of need to be seen. Fire signs need to be on stage, they need to show up, they need to connect with an audience, especially Leo rising. All right. um,
And then she's got a Gemini Moon.
so, kind of like our, no, that wasn't our last person. So, the Gemini moon, the core needs that you have is to be connected, to learn new things. Gemini moons are the most students in my courses have Gemini moons because emotionally they need to always be learning, connecting with people, sometimes teaching, sharing. I see Gemini moons always taking classes, sharing things with students, and I would imagine in your Leo rising blinged out vehicle, maybe you have some really nice fashionista clothes, maybe you do these kinds of Leonian presentations, but I would imagine you love to connect. You need to always be learning new things, talking to a variety of people. That is like your bread and butter. It's so important for you. Okay. What do you think? Anything you want to add, Teresa?
Oh, I'm just like nodding and I'm like, yeah, yeah. She's an online teacher. She's also an intuitive. So that makes total sense. Total
Well,
sense. And she says she does a lot of Facebook Lives. So she's definitely Leo rising then, putting herself out there with that Gemini moon, that communication, that connection with people.
I bet the students really like trust you and feel safe with the Taurus sun too. They probably, with that earth and structure, they probably feel so good and comfortable and safe. I bet you inspire them. Remember, Leo's inspired. They light up. A lot of times they are teachers too. All the Leo
Yeah.
moons are showing up.
And with her, she's got a Gemini moon and she wrote she lives for learning. She loves to learn. Well, that makes total sense. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thanks for sharing that.
That was awesome. Let me see. Let's get one more because we are starting to run down to the wire here. So let's just see who is here. I Heart Sasha Sweet said Virgo Sun, Aries Moon, and Sag Rising.
Okay, Virgo Sun, Aries Moon. Wow. So you have fire, fire, earth, right? Virgo Sun, Aries Moon. So I always imagine that as an ecosystem. So it's like a little plot of land. There's this beautiful big bonfire burning, you know? It's
Hmm.
a lot of fire there. So when somebody has as much fire as you, you're light. It's luminary. People are attracted to that level of light that you have innately. Did you write that down, Teresa? I already forgot the first thing I said. So
The Virgo Sun. I know this. Well, this also this thing goes fast. People, we're not going to be able to get everybody, but I'll tell you guys after we're done with this how you can work with Rebecca and learn all this stuff. So I Heart Sasha Sweet has a Virgo Sun,
Yeah.
and an Aries moon, just like my husband, and a Sag rising, just like my husband. Oh my God,
Oh,
it's like my husband's twin.
so let's start with the sun rising and then moon. So Virgo sun, Sag rising, and Aries moon. Is that right?
Aries moon, Sag rising. Yep.
The Virgo sun, Sag rising, and Aries moon. So we got another Earth sign all dressed up in fire. What is it with you? A lot of people have that in the room. So it's a different one. So Earth sign, we can trust you. You're going to do your job. You're going to do it right. You're going to do it perfectly. So thoughtful, so thorough you are, Miss Virgo sun, or Mr., whoever you are. Um, the Virgo sun is doing the detailed work with an amazing degree of integrity. Okay, we see you, Virgo. How you do it. Sagittarius rising, you're in a fiery vehicle. That means you attract attention. Whatever you're doing, you are attracting light. Okay, Sagittarius, do you teach? Do you share information? Do you love to learn? Do you love to travel? You got two mutable signs there. There's a lot of movement going on in your chart already. Um, I'm curious about your relationship to travel, but you're probably somebody as well that loves to always learn. That's Virgo and Sag,
Mm-hmm.
two signs that love to learn. Sagittarius can be adventure, teacher, fiery big picture, media, getting information out there into the world, publishing, broadcasting, production. Um, it's so interesting you have this Aries moon because at the end of the day, you got to do it your own way. It's like, it almost feels like, okay, I need to just try something new and take a risk. It's very important for you to be able to take risks and do it on your own. Other people may give their 2 cents here and there, but in the end, you
Mm-hmm.
got to try. You got to try and experiment for yourself. I think that you have enough natural sense of resourcefulness and stability with your
Mm-hmm.
Virgo sun to be able to take those calculated risks of the Aries rising. Um, what a combination!
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's Earth, Fire, Fire. Um, so that's actually a leadership combination too. Sometimes when you have a lot of Earth and Fire together, um, some of our good presidents had that because
Mm-hmm.
the Earth symbolizes somebody they can trust, and then the Fire is like that vision, like how we're going to do
Mm-hmm.
it, incites the emotions of the population.
Mm-hmm.
So you see that a lot in leadership too.
Yeah, and
Right.
she said, I heard Sasha Sweet said something about work and travel and art, but it went by so fast I didn't
That's,
catch that. So it sounds like they do have travel involved in their work in some way.
there's so much mutable energy. When you have a lot of mutable signs, which are like Virgo Sag, we go into that more in the class.
Mm-hmm.
You're very good at, making lemonade and moving with the flow, travel, things like that. Wow, we have a
So
triple room.
so when people understand now their ecology, and which I love it that you call it that. When they understand their sun and their moon and their rising, even if they're not an entrepreneur, in the way they show up in their work and their job, this can help them, right? If they're not an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, I would say, even in the way you relate to your family, your friends, or in your job, it really just instills what you're good at so you can own those qualities more and show up with them more. I'm always saying, once you know your triad and how that functions in the work atmosphere, turn the volume way up on those strengths
Hmm.
you have. Own them. When somebody asks you, what is your strong suit? What is your talent? Tell them your secret sauce. Like, give them that. It's very important to own your strengths and also know your weaknesses. So we talk
Hmm.
a lot about that first too, and just having awareness of your blind spots is key because I just don't think it's good for people to like try to waste their time doing all those things that could take them like 5 hours when somebody else could take half an hour. But this can help you whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you work in a larger company, whether you're not working at all. Just it's
Hmm.
about how you world and our unique roles. So In the class, we dive deep into our astrological signatures and business, but also we look at how to chart patterns in the year ahead and really chart your life for the year ahead
Hmm.
on an astrological chart. And many people who take this course say that it's their favorite course that we offer, and it's completely open to beginners too. So, like, you could know nothing about astrology and you would be fine in this course because I actually
Hmm.
teach you astrology in a very practical way through these business models of looking at astrology in the chart. Um, and also how you get on in relationships. You relate this to not only work teams, but family, partnerships, everything. I think most people have told me it made them a better partner after the
Yep.
course, which I expect to hear at all. But they said it improved their relationships a lot. So I was really happy about it. I said, well, yeah, everything's based on relationships, business, love, everything we do in life. It's about relationships, right, Miss Libra Rising?
Absolutely. It is like totally I mean, and for business, relationships is everything. Um, Hen House Hats also says, from what I've learned, and I think this is a good question. This will be the last question we take, and I want to tell people a little bit about your class. Hen House Hat says, from what I've learned, is it realistic to plot the year or divide up the year to choose the best times for business strategy? And I know that that's something that you do cover in your class. So do you want to address that for her?
Yes. So business strategy throughout the year looks completely different based on your star chart. So in the class, we actually teach you how to do a business map of the year based on your birth sign and the time of year you're born and setting it up that way. Because what might be good for you, hen house hats, might not be good for, I don't know, tree hugging GMA. So it's, different strategy. And also, different strategies work for different people. Like if I tried to do things the way Teresa does, it actually wouldn't work for me at all because that's not
Hmm.
in my chart. I have to use strategies that I know that are innate in my chart, and Teresa uses hers that she
Yeah.
has innately. So I think it's really about knowing what we do and really cultivating that and doing it the best way we can. It's so much about knowing yourself and focusing on that special genius that only you have, because each person is born with a unique genius. And my jam is helping to get people to understand that unique brand of stardust that
Hmm.
you have. There's no
So
two people alike on the.
no, you can have the same astrology and you still show up and do things a little bit differently. So that's totally true. Somebody also asked, Hen House Hats also asked this. I have two other partners. Can this blend? That's a
What does
great
she say?
question. She has two other partners. Can this blend?
Can it blend? What do you mean? Like, can
Like, let's say you and I were running a business together. I think what she means is, can we make this all work together?
oh yeah, so right,
Like for
like
strategizing too.
absolutely. You can blend three charts together. Is that what you mean? Like you can blend.
Yes, I think she means if you've got three partners, I'm assuming she means the strategies might be different, the planets might be lining up different. Can we blend this?
Oh yes, so that's actually what we focus on in the course is like teams.
Hmm.
I've done so many studies of teams. I just honestly, I in the last year before this whole COVID thing happened, I did a presentation at Gary Vee's office
Hmm.
in New York here about like team building based on understanding sun moon rising. So I love this this area of looking at teams and actually repositioning our roles sometimes. Because often on a team, somebody's doing a role that's not even their best asset. When once you look
Hmm.
at, like, do you like doing this? And they say, actually, I would. And you put them more in the front lines. Or somebody else might want to be more private if they have a Scorpio rising and they're in the front lines, they might not be happy and they might
Hmm.
need to be. So a lot of times we look at teams and really help everybody get into their ideal role. And everybody has
Hmm.
different communicate too. And it's knowing
Hmm.
that and compassion for it. You also learn how to speak to other team members when you understand their rising sign. Like, how do they like to connect?
Hmm.
And that's a lot of it's really compassion, understanding. We're all so different. I mean, the ideal team, in my opinion, is completely different kinds of people that have a few string, like a little point of connection, but you
Hmm.
all completely different thing. Um, so I love when the four elements on a team are present.
Hmm.
Essentially, the system, that's what I look for. Balancing out the elements to make the perfect team.
Well, that's one of the things that I really loved about the class. So for people who are listening, for class is starting on January 27th, and we're just giving you a taste of, thinking about how to build your business from using your star chart. But in the course which I did take, there's so much more that Rebecca covers about planning and strategizing and team building and about your brand. And the one thing that was very valuable to me is about those missing elements or those places you've got where you should be putting your genius instead of doing this junk that doesn't really match up for you. And that was really helpful. I actually ended up hiring a virtual assistant to manage a lot of little details for me and to create like some kind of structure around my inbox, which is something that I spent way too much time in, way too much time frittering around in that inbox. So I knew that I had to get somebody in there to handle some of those things for me so I could focus on my ideas and writing and not be fiddling around in the inbox. And I know that was one of the things that I learned from the class that I took with you.
I
Yes,
love
Christina and I designed birth chart is what we're talking about.
Yes. I mean, that's a I love that you did that. So many we had accountability in the course too, and we still do
Yep.
every year. And we're going to have groups of pods of four that stay very accountable to each other too. It's optional, but a lot of people love the pods.
Hmm.
And we give assignments based on that. And sometimes people within the class, they transform their business in that 4 weeks together that we have based on these methods. Um, as well, I share my resources now. I've
Hmm.
compiled a data of my favorite CRMs, which are like everything from Infusionsoft to MailChimp and ActiveCampaign and all that stuff. I
Hmm.
have my favorite teaching softwares, a whole list of them. So I will really give you business resources also that I've cultivated, um, just because I have, and I would love to help other entrepreneurs and people as well,
Hmm.
especially who are in the realms of tarot, astrology, Reiki, and body working, these kinds of things. But it's not only entrepreneurs who take the class. I see
Right.
people are also, I've had lawyers take the class. I'd had finance people take the class actually, and they say they loved it as well. So you get a lot out of it. You learn about relationships, and it's a
Hmm.
wonderful way to learn astrology. Um, we usually have a pretty tight group that stays connected well after the course ends, even because our message board stays open. So you'll build relationships for life. It's a great place to network too. Um, and I mean, I'm all about just being in flow. So basically, like the moon is in Aries today. So this
Hmm.
was the day to fire everything off, get it
Yes.
out, you know,
I got so much done today. So much done.
right? It was crazy. It was such a wonderful day for getting everything done. So I think that, oh yeah, we do have tons of artists in the class actually. And
Yes.
this is how I build my calendar of the month based on the moon signs.
Yep.
So for
I
example,
do too.
the moon in Aries today, I had all my kickoff meetings, you know? The moon is in Taurus, we stabilize things. The moon is in Gemini, do all the writing. Moon's in Virgo, edit all the writing. I like some breathing room between the writing and the editing, so it's perfect from the moon in Gemini to the moon in Virgo. You know, it's just the right amount of time to get like fresh eyes on it.
Right on. So for people who are listening, if you are really curious about this class, I've taken it, so I do recommend it. And Rebecca, how can they sign up and when does the class start?
All right. So if you're interested to sign up for Astrology for Entrepreneurs, which is an amazing course, you will learn to apply astrology to your life, your business, whether you're an entrepreneur, an artist, anything. You can sign up in my profile link at Rebecca Gordon Astrology. And if you put in the code Tarot Lady in caps, you're going to get a special gift that we made just for you. and followers of Teresa. So write Tarot Lady in caps in the field, and you will get like a beautiful 15-page gift. So, yes, so excited about this. Let me know if you like it. And it will help you integrate the cosmic cycles into your daily life. That's what it's all about.